beautiful. On behalf of whoever it is that invited you, maybe it was me, maybe it was a consultant on my team, thank you so much for wanting to participate in our makeover contest. It's so fun to think that you are here to experiment with some makeup, enjoy a tip or two that maybe you haven't necessarily tried with makeup application, and at the same time get a chance to win $5,000. How exciting is that? Before we get started with our cinnamon glow look, I do want to share with you what to expect from what you got from us. Now, as you know, you did get a gift from us. It's the Perfect Palette, which does come unfilled. This is what it looks like. And it is unfilled technically, but because you already chose a look, you're already adding to the palette. So right here, this is what you already have in your palette. You're gonna get biscotti, you're gonna get hazelnut, this is cinnabar, this is espresso, and then you also have a blush. Now, you can, over the course of time, or even sooner than later, add to this palette by adding some more shadows, maybe even a blush, or just add more shadows and let that be the only blush. It is really up to you. A couple of options that I would suggest for shadows, you can always add Gold Status. I feel like that's such a complimentary color. And then also this is Shiny Penny. So those are some options that over the course of time you can choose to add it. Your consultant can also talk to you about your season, autumn, spring, summer, winter, and figure out based on your skin tone what would be a good option for you, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with the Cinnamon Glow look. I've actually started some of it already on my eyes, and so I'm gonna walk you through how to use it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we have the right brush, okay? A good brush goes a long way. Hopefully you have a Mary Kay brush. If not, definitely seek out your consultant to chat with her about maybe perhaps even some specials she might be holding with the makeover contest that involves brushes. So the brush I'm going to be using is the All Over Eye brush. I love this one for the base of our eyelids. And I am going to go ahead and start with Hazelnut, which is this one right here. The thing I love about Hazelnut, and I actually did already put a little bit of hazelnut on this eye, and this eye is pretty much complete. The thing I love about hazelnut is that it is such a natural color. I will even tell ladies, like, I want you to think about it as like that beige bra we all have. You all know most likely that there's a good chance you have a beige bra in your collection, and because it's so natural in how it matches your shirts and it doesn't stand out in what you're wearing, it is like a go-to, right? And so I always feel like hazelnut is the beige bra in our collection. And it doesn't matter what skin tone you have. I do have a darker skin tone, and yet I think it does a really great job of giving me a little bit of a natural color, pop of color, without looking too out, like as if I was going out. You know, I can wear this to work, I can wear this to run errands, whatever. And then the other thing I do want to point out is that especially if you have hooded eyes, don't be shy about taking hazelnut up higher, okay? So I kind of took it fairly high, and especially for my hooded eye girls, taking it higher is even better, because with that hood that you have, you do want that beautiful look to actually be seen when you're opening up your eyes, and perhaps that hood is covering some of the look. So if you go up a little higher, it'll be more obvious to someone to see the beautiful look that you've done for yourself that day. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Cinnabar, and we're gonna take Cinnabar with our crease brush. Again, chat with your consultant if you don't have this brush. I love the crease brush. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the crease brush, and you are going to simply find a good angle, okay? Now this is where some of us start to overthink. Do not overthink this, okay? It's gonna look a little funky. You can see it looks funky right now on me. It's gonna look a little funky, and it's not a big deal. You can either kind of, like what I'm doing is a little bit of a pressing motion. I'm pressing on to that part, and I kind of extended it. You know, you're kind of like going in that angled kind of motion towards the edge of your brow, your eyebrows, okay? And you can always add a little bit more going inward. That's perfectly fine too. Just have fun with how you want Cinnabar to look. Now, the great thing with this look that we're doing today, I'm just going to add a little bit more to this side, is that you can, the contest ends on August 15th. And so, you know, depending on when you're watching this tutorial and you're playing with the look, get used to the look if you want. You know, use it for the course of a few days. And then when you feel like, all right, I'm ready to take, and here's the thing, even take multiple pictures. So let's say you try the look for 3 days in a row. Take a picture for each of those 3 days that you use it and chat with your consultant. Get in touch with her. She's going to help you make sure that the best entry is sent to the company. $5,000. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? I would be so excited if one of us was one of the winners. And they're giving away 5 sets of those $5,000, by the way. Now, again, this looks a little funky, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a good blending brush, okay? So you're gonna get a good blending brush and you're gonna go ahead and soften that look, okay? So you're just gonna make sure that it's all nice and softened. Look at that. That is a nice blend. I love that. I love how once you start blending it, it really starts to come together, you know, and I know the lighting isn't that great here for me, so I apologize if you're like, oh, I can't necessarily see everything that you're doing there, girlfriend, but that should kind of give you an idea of how that looks. Okay. By the way, your consultant can also, if you need desperate help, if you're like, I watched the video tutorial, but I still don't, you know, I need a little more TLC. You call her, okay? And then she can always do like even FaceTiming you, okay? All right, so that is Cinnabar. Next, what you're gonna do is, here's a trick. I am 43 years old and I've learned different ways to keep my makeup not making me age, okay? And so one of the tricks that I've learned is that think about what we took on the base of our eyelid. It was a little bit more of a neutral, darker sort of skin tone shade. I think a lot of us were taught originally to use like the brighter colors on the base of our eyelid, like this sort of color on the base of our eyelid, but you don't want to use that light of a shadow on the base of your eyelid. You want to do something a little bit darker like hazelnut. This one, you take it to the inner corners of your eye, and that's Biscotti. So what I want you to do next is to get Biscotti and put it in the inner corners of your eye, okay? It's gonna help brighten that part. Look at that. You see how it just brightens that inner corner, okay? And I'm gonna add a little bit more to this one so you can see how it just brightens it. I love that. Now, I am using an eye smudger brush. I love that it has just like the shape of it really helps me get into that inner corner and simply just kind of dab right there and then smooth it out. I love that. You can also take and just make sure, sometimes women like to actually have multiple brushes because the more you have multiple brushes, the more you'll be able to not worry about transferring one color to a spot that you don't want. But you can take Biscotti and put it under your eyebrow, and that's going to lift the look a little bit more. I love that. Okay, perfect. Now, this is going to be real fun. I can't wait to do this with you. So again, just because I'm in my 40s now, I don't know how old you are. Give me 1 second. I dropped a brush. So what you're going to do is you're going to use espresso as your eyeliner. Okay. A lot of us obviously go for a traditional black, but with women that are a little bit more mature like I am, using a brown eyeliner is really good. And you can use a shadow as an eyeliner. Matter of fact, it softens the look. It's not as harsh. And sometimes it's those harsh lines that may create someone's eyes and face to look older than she really is. So you're going to take espresso. And I know many of you are probably like to hold onto your skin as you apply your eyeliner, but I'm gonna challenge you to not, and just essentially think again about that angled sort of approach to your brow, and just kind of start there. And you're gonna take espresso, and you're gonna line the area where you would put your eyeliner, right where your lashes are. Look how pretty that is. So you're going to go ahead and do that. I love that. And so this is the eyeliner brush that we carry. And I love that because you're going to get like the soft texture of a brush. And it's going to be a little bit more forgiving for some of us, because when you think about a traditional eyeliner that has more like of a pencil sort of texture to it, for some of us that can create like a rigid sort of feeling. And then next thing you know, we're not as confident with that look. So, and by the way, the reason why I started with my eyes is because that's the part I feel like a lot of us get a little bit more overwhelmed. And also because as you go through the application of the look, you might find that some of the shadow particles hit on the tops of your cheek. And so having done that first allows you to clean up, either by using some of our eye makeup remover. I just get a little tissue and I take off what I see. Or some women actually like to put foundation. So they like to take a cream brush, and they like to like clean it up by putting foundation on top of where that was. You can always get a tissue to also take a little bit of the particles before you do that. So I always like to start with that. I think this time around, I don't have anything truly to clean up. This looks really pretty. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my actual face, and I'm going to put CC cream on. Now, perhaps you, now before I do CC cream, I'm going to go ahead and put our primer. So perhaps you already have a full size primer from us. Great. If not, your consultant hooked you up with a sample. So go ahead and use the primer. It's going to be great at smoothing out your texture, so that when you put your foundation, it's not going to look like it's, you know, sitting on the texture of your skin, and ultimately making you even look a little bit more aged, or even accentuate that texture that you may not like. So if you want smoother skin when you apply your foundation, primer is a great option, especially now during the summertime too. Primer is a great way to keep the foundation from not melting and not creating those streaks as you go out out and about with the summer heat. So I'm going to go ahead and use my CC cream. So get your CC cream. Now I like to put a little bit on my, this is what I've been doing lately, is I've been putting it on the back of my hand, and I've been using that area to truly, you know, get the product and then lift from my back of my hand onto my face. Now, I will tell you, I do have, just because I've gotten a little bit darker, I do have a little bit of CC cream in shade deep as well as medium to deep. So I'm playing with both of them. As you can see, that's more my skin tone right now. So I did need to use two different shades. Now, I want you to look at my skin tone. Clearly, I have imperfections with my skin tone. And the goal is that as I apply my CC cream, that is evened out as much as it can. At the end of the day, skincare and doing things like wearing SPF, which is not what I was doing in my 20s. You know, those are the right things that we should be doing, so that we don't have all those uneven skin tone issues like I do with the dark spots. So just keep in mind that CC cream can help cover that, and skincare can ultimately remedy that, okay? Including sometimes even getting help from the dermatologist. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Velour Puff. This is what I've been using lately. I feel like it just does a great job of just kind of really getting into the skin, so that it doesn't create that streaky look that sometimes we might get with a brush. Okay. Now, I will tell you, we do not carry a velour puff. So this is something I just got from Amazon. There are different ones out there. There are some that, you know, have certain claims that they are much better, and you'll definitely see a bigger difference with them. I don't know much about that, so I just kind of do a little bit of what I think works with this one, and I think I'm pretty good with it, you know. So While I do the CC cream, I also do want to give you some tips for the makeover contest. So, like I said, try a couple of times the look before you decide which picture you want to send. The other thing too is if you're playing with the look and you realize that you need brushes, like let's say you're playing with the look and you're like, you know what, I am using brushes that I've had for the last 10 years or that I bought on the cheap and I can tell that they're cheap and it's not giving me the look that I want, then talk to your consultant because she can hook you up with brushes in time for you to play with the look again. And look at that. You see how the skin tone has definitely gotten a little bit more evened out. And again, depending on what your skin looks like, you will definitely see an improvement with CC cream. I love how that does that. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And then we are going to, yes, anyway, just keep in mind that your consultant is here to help you and to guide you and to suggest. So as you watch this video tutorial and you're trying it out for yourself too, know that you do have options. Okay. Now we're going to take the blush that we have, and I'm going to give you a tip with blush. So with blush, back in the day, the popular thing to do was to kind of put it right here. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to take it up a little bit higher. So I'm going to go ahead and get our blush, which is Shy Blush. And I'm just going to take, this is our cheek brush. So again, if you feel like you need an upgrade before you submit your picture, definitely do. And all I do is I lightly tap and I take it up higher. So again, we were maybe taught to come down a little bit there, but now this is the place that you want to focus on. It's more of the trend of the look that is more popular nowadays. Also, women have found, especially for those of us that are 40 plus, that it keeps our skin looking more lifted by applying the blush more towards the higher parts of our cheeks. So, and again, you can always apply how much you want, how little you want. That's where, you know, even though all of us are using the Cinnamon Glow look, it's going to look different for everyone. And I love that. Okay. Now you're probably thinking you haven't even gotten back to, like, you stopped with the eyeshadows. You didn't quite get around to mascara. And I will get to that in just a second. I'm going to do my lips first and then mascara. So I'm going to take our lip liner. This is Beige Nude. And I'm actually going to go ahead and there's different variations. You play with it. Again, talk to your consultant. Maybe on day one, you do what I'm doing, which obviously I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm actually coloring my whole lip with this lip liner. I love that this is a waterproof lip liner. I find that our lip liners is the key to making sure that any lip color stays on. Look how pretty that is. So pretty. Okay. So that's Beige Nude. Now, if you wanted to, again, for your first time trying out the look, you can do the entire lip area like I did. Maybe the second day, you can do just the, truly trace the outline of your lips. That is up to you. And then you're going to get Hush Blush, and you're going to go ahead and use that as your lipstick, as your lip color. You see how it all starts to come together? That's the thing with makeup, is that, like, I feel like as you do the eyes, as you do the coverage, you're like, I don't know if I'm liking this. But just keep going, girlfriend, okay? Just keep going. Do not give up on yourself. Please do not give up on yourself. And really give yourself the entire time to look at how the look looks. So I love how this is very natural. It's great for the summertime. And now I'm going to add the mascara. Now lately what I've been doing is I've been using 2 mascaras at once. So I've been using the Great Heights mascara. That's the one that you see me using right now. It's going to give you really nice height to your lashes. It's really a pretty look. And by the way, if you do get some of the mascara onto your lid, no worries. The biggest tip is to let it dry, and then you can, I don't really often do my bottom lashes, to be honest with you, but look how pretty this is. And some girls, I am not the one to sit here and like patiently continue, but some girls will go at, even in the appointments I have with customers, some of my customers will go at it for patiently. They'll go at it with their lashes for a little bit, and you just see the transformation that their lashes have just by giving it a little bit of time. I will come in and do what I can in a small amount of time, and you can already see. And then I'm going to take Lash Intensity. This is Lash Intensity, and it's going to give me a little bit of volume. Look how pretty that is. So yeah, so just double up on mascara. That's a great way to really get a lot for a lot, like a really like transformed look compared to what your natural lashes look like. And if you do end up with some on your eyelid, like I said, you can always wait till it dries and then it'll come off. You can like basically flake it off, or you can always get our eye makeup remover. So, but this is basically the look, ladies. And again, remember that your consultant is your partner in this, okay? So please keep her in the loop of how you liked this video, how it helped you. If there's something about this video that left you kind of wondering, if you have any questions for her, you can always, see, hey, can I FaceTime you and just try this out with you? There are different ways. This is one way that we wanted to support you and help you, but obviously there are other ways that we can service you. Ultimately, we want you to get entered into this contest. If the more of us enter, the more of a chance that our people are going to win. The fact that the company is willing to give out $25,000 in total out there, to have 5 winners that win that. And don't forget, you're also going to get some free Mary Kay. Oh my gosh, like look at how, as I'm getting closer to the video, to the camera, you can really see how pretty this look is. So, oh my gosh. All right, ladies, on behalf of your consultant, thank you so much for trying the Cinnamon Glow look. Let us know how you liked it. Please take some time to chat with her so that you can get yourself submitted into the contest. And we're so grateful. Again, we always know that you have so many options. So thank you for choosing us. Have a blessed day.